Hello everyone, it's Simmuz here, welcome to a brand new video. Since it's almost the new year and this video should be coming up before 2023 starts, I am going to talk about all my wants and my expectations that are going to be for The Sims 4 in 2023. So I have a list of things that I would like to see in the game and their counterparts of what I actually expect them to add to the game. So this video is definitely gonna be a lot of me talking, so if you are interested in more videos like this, let me know in the comments down below. Also, leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because that really helps me out. But I do have a list, as I said, of things that I would like to see for The Sims 4, my wants and the expectation that I have. So let's talk about the first one. So my first want for 2023 in The Sims 4, I would like to see some kind of acknowledgement for the fight that some Simmer are having for better representation of Black Simmer and Jewish Simmer. If you don't know, there have been a lot of people asking for better representation in the game, especially for Black and Jewish Simmers. I know there's been, especially on Twitter, a lot of talk and discussion about this, and I would love for the team to actually acknowledge they are working on something related to this issue, because it's definitely like something that you can actually see for yourself if you open up the game. There isn't enough representation for these categories, and the Black Simmer community is such a big side of the community that I think deserves, and I don't think I'm saying anything like controversial saying this, they deserve as much as representation as any other cultures. There's been a lot of improvement through the years with the skin tone updates, with the new SDX drops, with content like hairstyles and such, but there is still a lot more that needs to be done. And same can be said for Jewish Simmers. One of my friends, Hufflepum on Twitter, she has been asking for almost a year at this point for better representation for Jewish Simmers as well, because we don't have that many Jewish items. I think we only have like the Hanukkah menorah and that's it. So it would be very nice to have more items like kippah or other head coverings and food especially. That would be very interesting to have as an addition, and it would be very nice to see. So what I would like to see is at least some free drops of content, maybe working hand to hand with a creator of some kind, like they did with the Sims for the new hairstyle for base game. I think that was such a great thing, and I'm so glad they did that, but I wish to see more of that. And what I would like to see, still relating to the Black representation, I would like to see an African word coming to The Sims 4, because I think at this point Africa is the only continent that does not have any like word that is connected to it in The Sims 4, because for America we have a whole bunch of different places. For Europe we do have a few, and for Asia we now have Mount Komorebi. Arguably also San Myshuno is also inspired by San Francisco, but also from other Asian cities like Tokyo and Hong Kong and Singapore. And we do have a South America word with Salvadorada. We do have a Polynesian word with Sulani. So it is at this point only missing an African word, and I think at this point it's really needed. As for my expectation, I do expect them to at least acknowledge the lack of content and that they're working on it, and at least give us the free content drops. If they're now planning on an African word, I think honestly I'm not expecting them to be working on an African word, but I would love to see one, but you know. As for my second ones, since it's been confirmed that we'll be getting a new life stage, which is the infant life stage in 2023, I would like to see a pack that is related to this new life stage. I am honestly thinking an expansion pack like The Sims 3 Generations, with a big focus on family gameplay, challenges that will help push the players to play through different generations of Sims, more content for families, and for those life stages that are not as well loved as other life stages. For example, the toddler life stage, what's gonna be the new infant life stage, and also elders. Honestly, I would like that to also come with a new look for pregnancy, with more options that will, you know, related to pregnancy and for helping pregnant Sims through their pregnancy. For example, I would like to see special training courses, maybe for parenting or for birth, and more hospital visits, especially if you own Get to Work. That would be very cute to have like ultrasounds. It could also be like a rabbit hole. You can just have like during a pregnancy you can go have an ultrasound and then you come back with an ultrasound picture. Like, that's already something or more related to pregnancy. It would also be very cool to see different birth options. Like, you can have a natural birth, you can have an hospital birth with your sim with surgery, but you could also have maybe a water birth or other options as well, maybe a home one. I don't know, there are other options, and I know there are mods that do this, but I would like to see like a rehaul of pregnancy. As for what I expect coming from the update with the infants, I'm not sure we are going to get any expansion pack like a generation expansion pack, even though I know it's very much requested by the community, just because I think they are not really into expansion packs anymore. I don't know if that's just what I'm feeling, because we haven't gotten one in a little bit, but honestly I really expected them to have one at the end of the year, like November, December, and we didn't get one. So I don't know if they're like slowly fading out expansion packs and we're not gonna see as many. I honestly am thinking that we might get only one expansion pack next year instead of the usual 2/3 expansion pack that we're used to. We're gonna get a couple game pack probably, and I know we're gonna get a lot of kits. So I am definitely expecting at least a stuff pack. That would be very nice to have, like they did for toddlers and for children, having like a infant stuff pack with items for infants. But I'm honestly more leaning towards them having kits for infants, either 1 or 2 kits, maybe one for Kaz and one for build and buy, with items that are specifically catered for infants. Of course, they're gonna add stuff in the base game, but if you want more different things, I'm definitely seeing them creating kits for infants. For my third one, I am talking about bands, because whether they're going to be added in a specific game pack or in a new expansion pack as like a secondary kind of thing that you can do in that pack, for example, like they did in High School Years with the addition of the boba tea shop. Like, you can go get boba now, but it's more focused on the high school, of course. Like, if they do something like that with bands, or whether it's gonna be a game pack like get bending I don't know what it could be called, get music or whatever, and create a new game pack. I would like to see bands, because I think it would be very cool to have Sims finally play instruments all together, because that's something that we are definitely lacking in a Sims 4. Even though we do have a few different instruments, we do have guitars, we have violins, we have piano, we have the organ, we have the keyboard, there is the DJ booth, there's a mic that you can sing in, and there's a lot of different options, and I would like to see more, of course, but also I would like to have the options to play together. I think it could also work very well in a Get Famous refresh. It is one of my wants to have a Get Famous refresh with either bends and modeling, or at least one of the two, because as of right now, Get Famous only gives you the option to become famous through the acting career. I know there are other ways to become famous in the game, but it's not related to Get Famous. But I would like to see either a modeling career or a band, like a music career, that also are related to Get Famous. So a Get Famous refresh with bands, or another new pack with bands, is one of my wants. As for my expectation, honestly, I'm not sure that we're gonna get bands. It is one of the things that people really are asking for, so we might see it this year, maybe not the first part of the year, maybe later on, but I could see that happen. What I don't really see happening is a refresh for Get Famous. I would love to see more refreshes, of course, but I don't think they are going to refresh Get Famous, just because it's not as old, first thing first, and it's not that bad. There are other expansion and game packs that do need a refresh way more than Get Famous. While on the topic of refreshes, let's talk about my fourth one, and that would be to have a new refresh finally for a new pack. Either Island Living, Get to Work, Dine Out, or Outdoor Retreat are my 4 candidates for a refresh. That those 4 packs really could use a refresh, and it would be awesome. I know Island Living is very new, but honestly, with the lack of gameplay from the pack, it doesn't really bode, like, when you confront it to other expansions, it doesn't really hold up. But it would be great to see a refresh of one of these packs. even other packs. If the team has other ideas in mind, I would like to see them. I had a whole video of me talking about which packs I think need a refresh, so if you want to check that out, I'm going to leave an info card on this video. As of my expectation, I am honestly at this point not really expecting any more refreshes, since it turned out that it's not actually like an annual thing like I was thinking at first, like all the time around September we're gonna get a new refresh of some older pack that really deserves a refresh. But since they didn't do that in 2022, I'm honestly thinking that at this point, we're not gonna get any more refreshes. I know that at first, they originally had a top 3 packs that they had people vote for, of which packs we wanted to see refreshed, but that does not obviously translate to them doing at least 3 refreshes. Honestly, it would have been nice to have at least 3 packs being refreshed, but I know it's probably not going to be high on their priority list, if at all, in any of their list of content that is coming out. Another want that I have, it's definitely to better the communication with the players. This is something that they already talk about in the past, and hopefully they continue this year as well to improve their communication with us, which I think they kind of did in 2022, especially with the Sim Summit live stream and the announcement of Project Renee. I think that was very nice to have this open conversation with us, especially on Project Renee, even though that led to some leaks. You know, I still am very happy that they decided to go through with that, and I would like to see more and more open conversation. As for my expectation, I am expecting them to continue on this path and keep us informed and be as transparent as possible, especially after the fiasco behind my wedding stories, where they said they were gonna pull out the game from Russia, and then it turned out that they didn't have to do that, and the Russian market wasn't just the Russia nation, but it was a lot of other countries that wouldn't get the pack, and it wasn't for the reason that they said they was, and at the end they didn't even do it, so it was like a whole big thing, and I think that with better communication in the future it might not happen again. As for my other one, for a game pack, I would love to see hotels and hotel management, just because I personally love just the managing aspect in The Sims, like we have with restaurants and we have with stores. Honestly, I would like to have another option with the hotels, and I would love really enjoy to have at least a game pack, maybe an expansion pack for hotels. That would be very nice. As for my expectation, while I think that the hotels are very cool, they're definitely not a priority for the team. I don't think it's, if it is on their list of content, it's definitely in the lower tier of priority, just because of the fact that we do have now the rental lots that are being able to be used in every word. So you can, of course, go on vacation in any word just with a rental lot. And also with the fact that Svodorada, Granite Falls, and I guess also Journey to Batu, so Batu, are still considered as vacation words. So there is the whole vacation thing still going. I'm not really sure if we're gonna get hotels, just because of the fact that we already have rentals and that we already have vacation words. Another one is definitely multifunctional lots. I think this is one, if not my first priority for The Sims 4, having better lots management so that you're able to have a store and a house and live and work on the same lot. It would be so incredible, and I would love to see that happen. As for my expectation, of course, I don't really believe that this is even possible in The Sims 4, just because of the fact that this game has been out at this point in 2023. It's gonna be 9 years, and that's a long time for a game to be out. And at this point, if they haven't programmed in the game the fact that we can have multifunctional lots from the beginning, I don't think they can add it now. Something else that I want to see is better trans Sims. With the addition of pronouns, I think they already are starting to work very well in that direction, and the gender options and the sexuality options are a great addition as well. I would like to have more ways for our Sims to explore their gender that isn't just through editing through CAS, because as of right now, if you have a Sim that starts off as a male and you want to transition into a female Sim, you cannot really do that. unless you use create a sim and cheats. I would like to have like an option to explore gender identity, and maybe that brings you into CAS. Maybe you explore gender identity, you find out you can change your pronouns some way, and then you explore some other thing, and there is some personal growth during the, I don't know, the teen years or something, and then you can actually go to the mirror and go into CAS and change your gender and all this stuff. I also would like to see more and better gender neutral clothing, and also them refitting the clothing that it's already in game so that it fits different framed sims. So masculine framed sims can wear female clothing and vice versa, because as of right now that doesn't really work for all the items. For example, all the tops for female sims have like a chest area that it's very like female, like round chest, and that does not work for all the male sims, for example. And vice versa, pants for males make the bottom half of female framed sims very weird, so I would like them to rework that in some way. Also, while we're on the topic, I would like to have some surgery scars in The Sims 4. Since we now have body scars as an option in Create a Sim, I would like them to have like top surgery scar at least. Those are so easy to add. I have them as custom content and they are so easy, so they give us so much more. Like, that is such an easy addition. As for my expectation, I'm not really sure if all of my wishes are possible in the game or easily implementable at all. I think the gender neutral option in Create a Sim and top surgery scars are two of the things that are super easy to implement. Just more clothing that is gender neutral, and the top surgery scars, those are such easy addition. I would really love them to add these. I could also see them do a full CAS rehaul for all the textures and the reworking the issue with the framing on the bodies, so that could also be a thing. But honestly, I'm not holding my breath for that. I'm honestly expecting, but at this point, at least the top surgery scars, that's like the bare minimum. Another one is more nuanced kits. I think that is my biggest issue with kits. I'm not the biggest fan of this new type of pack, of course, but I believe that it could be very interesting for them to use the kits to cater to smaller ideas. I think they did that kind of with the first kit for Create a Sim with the throwback fit kit, and more recently, for example, with the Pasto Pop kit, like, it was very nuanced and I think that was great. While other kits, like for example the modern menswear kit, which had a big controversy question mark around it, even the plant kit, which I personally really like, I think those are way too vague. For example, the modern menswear kit, the issue was that they released these modern menswear items when in CAS we do have a lack of clothing for male sims already, so giving us very nuanced, specific clothing for male sims while we're missing the basics still, it feels like it doesn't really work. For the plant kit, that one is, for example, too broad in my opinion, because like it's just plants. I want something that it's more like nuanced, like more specific to a certain subculture, something more specific for certain pieces of furniture that is not like plants, because plants are already in the base game and they should be like something so basic that every house has, so it's not like something interesting. As for my expectation, I can see them eventually using kits to focus on more nuanced content, like a specific fashion subculture or a specific style, but I also totally see them continuing to intersperse these more nuanced kits with kits that are regarding categories that are more requested, since those type of kits that are not like nuanced will bring in more sales just because more people will want it. So I can still see them working on more packs like the plant kits or everyday clutter, which are great, but also like it's not really like something that should be in a kit in my opinion. Final one, I would like them to implement some disabilities in Create a Sim as well. I know a lot of people feel very yes and no about the disabilities, and of course I'm just talking about my personal want, but I also think that for a game that is striving for more representation, and we are asking for more representation, we should be asking also for disability representation, and having it in game, I think it's very nice for people that are disabled to be able to create themselves. I would like to see wheelchairs, I would like to see crutches, I would like to see some kind of prostheses, I would like to see walkers, there are some options that I think would be very interesting to see. For my expectation, at this point, I'm not really seeing them adding disabilities in the game. I don't know why the reason. There is a big discussion we could have. We could also make an entire video about it if you're interested on my thoughts about why they're not adding disabilities or mental illnesses, for example. What I could see them at least add is a cochlear implant in Create a Sim, and maybe even a walking stick for blind Sims. I think that could be some options to at least start including some kind of forms of disabilities without it being too hard to do. Because I think doing the wheelchair and the crutches and a walker, it's a lot of like new animation work and a lot of issues with like pathing, I'm thinking. And also the issue with like, if there's stairs, how are you gonna do that if a sim is in a wheelchair? Like, you cannot just have a sim stand up, walk up a couple of steps and then go back into the wheelchair. Like, it doesn't really work like that. While I think that at least adding a cochlear implant and maybe a walking stick, I think those are like very easy to do in Create a Sim. And of course, if they were gonna give you the option, of course, in Create a Sim to add a disability, for example, if your sim is deaf, you can like click and choose, yes, this sim is deaf, and then you can have a cochlear implant or not. And same for the walking stick, you can choose if your sim is blind or not, and they can use the walking stick. Or if you have cats and dogs, maybe they can have a like a guide dog. I don't know, I think there's some stuff that they could add related to that. But this is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. These are all my wants and expectations for 2023. I'm super interested to have a conversation down in the comments below. So if you have any wants or what are your expectations for 2023 for The Sims 4, I would love to know what you think. And what do you think about the things that I said? Like, are these things possible? Will they happen? Will they be added? Or are we never gonna see any of them? Honestly, I'm thinking that most of these are possible, especially when we are talking about expectations. I definitely see all of these things happening in 2023. But of course, let me know, of course, in the comments down below what you think. And while you're down there, also subscribe if you haven't already, because duh. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.